Now, when you start to think about the inputs to your portfolio, we tend to have 3 different inputs. The first one is the strategic initiatives. I really hate this conversation about we've got initiatives and we have to get alignment. It's the other way around. Strategy begets projects, not projects beget strategy, right? So we've got to make sure that those strategic initiatives in our portfolio are the most important things. Those are the go-to items, right? The next one are what we call market-driven change. Now, I'm in financial services, and the darn regulators keep on putting regulations on us. And so, therefore, we've constantly got either responding to regulation or responding to market change, okay? And those can be equally important, but the one thing that is different about those things is they tend to be fixed date, yeah? So we've got some strategic initiatives, we've got market change. Now we've got the items where we've got the strategic alignment issue, and that is around continuous improvements, all right? They tend to be the small changes that come through. Now, when you're talking about lean portfolio management, what you need to put in place is a demand management process. How does the information, how do the requests for work get into the pipeline, okay? And that's an important point to the overall process that we've got here. Well, the other thing is we've got to look at balance. I did a job for a finance company down in Basingstoke years ago, and they said to me, John, we don't wonder, we're trying to analyze why we're not delivering our strategic initiatives. So we classed strategic initiatives as A, we did market change as B, and the trivial change as C, class C projects. When we did timesheet analysis, guess where all the time was being spent? Absolutely. And the problem with the C-type changes, they come to me or they come to you and they say, and it's a guy that you know, right? And they say, hey, Joe, can you do this for me? Can you just fix this? We got a problem over here, right? Now, these are the real killers. They really do take up your capacity of your team, and they kill the organization. So we have got to put into place a process which allows us to start to look at the funnel. It's our demand management funnel, right? Business cases, they need to be, if you think about the strategic change, we've got the business cases and so on. I can let you have copies of the slides afterwards if you want them, okay? And then we're looking at, now here's a new word. Business cases. What do you think we mean by increments? No? Right, in Agile, we don't try and deliver the whole project in one bite, okay? We deliver incrementally. Now, business increments give us the opportunity to try and get value to the customer as early as possible. So if you've got a business case and you break it down into 4 increments, you might say, this is our most important increment, and we're now going to deliver that, right? And then you go for the next one and you say, oh, now we're going to deliver that. But by the time you get to the 4th increment, there may be something else which you're better off spending the money on. So the business increment allows you to flex. Okay, so we get that flexible piece with the deliverables. Now, increments have to be viable. So you might have heard of minimum viable product. The key word there is viable. So what we don't want to do, I'm in financial services, so we don't want to implement something which is going to open the firm to fraud or risk or compliance issues already. So when you're defining an increment, it has to be an end-to-end solution. It's got to be able to stand on its own, okay? And of course, if you're doing a replacement of a system, it's bigger. A couple of years ago, I was working for a company called Experian. Experian do credit risk software, if you come across them. We implemented the same solution in 2 places. One was in Scandinavia, the other one was in Madrid. In the Madrid, not Scandinavia, it was actually in the Far East. In the Madrid case, they were a brand new tech, so a fintech just starting up. We could implement a very, very thin, viable increment, okay? But where we were replacing software, which was in the Middle East, we had to have a very thick one. So what is the right thing in terms of your increment is dependent upon the context that you've got within the organization, okay?